Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel once again. To those of you who did not know this about me, I am a podcaster. I have a podcast and it's called the Honest Talk Podcast, and it's a place where I talk about all things navigating teenagehood. It's a mentorship podcast. I am someone who's very passionate about youth empowerment and personal development, and the podcast is actually the reason why I even started this YouTube channel, because I have a passion for young people and helping them grow into the best version of themselves. And I was doing that with my podcast. I used to talk and upload audio content and a few videos here and there, reels in the form of reels on Instagram. And one of the main pieces of feedback that I got when I was posting my content on Instagram was that people really enjoyed the video content. And I figured, okay, so if people enjoy the video content and they find it a bit taxing to go to my Instagram bio and then look for the podcast links, some of them were not even able to access the audio content that I put out. I figured, let me just create a YouTube channel where people can access the video content because people like the video content. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say, that I am a podcaster and my podcast is called the Honest Talk Podcast. So this year I didn't really get to do a lot with the podcast because actually when I started the podcast I was a teenager myself, so it was teenage content by a teenager for teenagers as well. And this year I was figuring out what it's like stepping into adulthood. I got my first job and I was working as a student advisor at Star Leadership Academy, and then somewhere in the middle of the year I got another job and I was working as a content creator for the Gen Z Connection, which is an amazing platform for youth and Gen Z personal development, and I recommend that you follow them as well on Instagram and on YouTube as well. So because I was juggling all these things and university applications as well, which I've done a video on before and I'm going to continue bringing more content on that, I didn't really get time to focus on my podcast because I was still learning how to find balance in doing all the things that I was doing. But I'm here today to say that the Honest Talk Podcast is back, and I am here with more content on youth personal development and youth empowerment, content on navigating academics, content on getting scholarships, content on uni applications, essay writing, you name it. I am here to help you become the best version of yourself when it comes to academics, when it comes to getting opportunities, and when it comes to just your personal development. So if you guys would like me to do a video on my experience as a student advisor working full-time at Star Leadership Academy, I will definitely do that. Just let me know if you want it. But today's video is going to be about how I got an online job as a content creator and my experience with that. So like I said, sometime in the middle of the year, this year in June, I got a job as a content creator for the Gen Z Connection, which is a platform for digital mentorship for teenagers, for young people, anybody Gen Z. The Gen Z Connection is the place to be. So how did I even get that job in the first place? I know a lot of people are always saying, I wish I could get an online job, and I don't even know how to get an online job. So today I'm going to be telling you how I got my online job. One day I was scrolling through Instagram. Okay, so because I am a content creator and because of my podcast, the Honest Talk Podcast, I used to follow pages that were doing things similar to what I was doing, pages that were doing youth mentorship and youth personal development, so that I could see how they were doing it and also improve on the ways that I was doing it. And because I'm a young person as well, I was also following these pages because I also need that kind of mentorship, as I'm navigating my life as well. So one day I was just scrolling through my feed and I saw a post by the Gen Z Connection saying that they were looking for a person who was passionate about social media and who wanted to become a content creator for them. And when I saw it the first time, I didn't do anything because I've never applied for any online job. Well, before that one, I'd never done it before. So when I saw it at first, I was just like, okay, this is interesting. And then I took a screenshot of it and I just left it in my gallery and kept scrolling. But they were looking for someone between the ages of 18 and 24 who was passionate about social media and who wanted to do that kind of stuff. So I left it, and that day I didn't do anything about it. I remember it was on a Friday when I saw it. And then Saturday, Sunday, spent my weekend enjoying myself. And then on the Monday I remembered that Monday was the deadline for sending the applications for that job. So I remembered it on the Monday, and I was actually at Star Leadership Academy where I was working full time. And then I remembered it and I was like, maybe I should actually apply for this and see how it goes, because I'm genuinely passionate about content creation, and it's a bonus when the content creation is paired with youth personal development and empowerment, because that's something that is very dear to my heart, because it's people who are into youth personal development and youth empowerment have really impacted my life in ways that I am very grateful for. The likes of Star Leadership Academy, Higher Life Foundation, but to mention a few, which I'll probably talk about some other time. So I remembered the post and I decided to just go for it. So I looked at it, and then the application wasn't structured. So it was, a person was free to apply for the job in a creative way, So I decided to write a letter. I used Canva to design my letter, and then I took screenshots of my social media and I put them there as evidence of how I'm well versed in social media. And that was before I even started my YouTube channel. So I only had my Instagram pages. I had my personal Instagram page, my podcast Instagram page, and my handcrafted jewelry business Instagram page as evidence of my content creation abilities. So I wrote my letter, put my screenshots of my Instagram pages, and I sent it through. So when I sent it through, I got a message the next day from Rumbi Mnyaradzi. Shout out to Rumbi. And she said that she had seen my application, and she thanked me for sending through my application and said that she was just gonna wait for other people to send through their applications and then review them all at once, and then she would get back to us after the deadline. So I waited, and then I remember the other day she sent me a message and she was like, I would like to have an interview with you. What time are you free on this particular day? And then we discussed the time, and we had the call. It was a very interesting, fun conversation that I had with her, talking about, she was interviewing me, of course, so she was asking me a couple of questions to see if I would be a good fit for her platform, the Gen Z Connection. And we ended the conversation, I think it was about close to an hour long, and then we ended the conversation on a very good note. And the next day, if I remember correctly, the next day or 2 days after, she messaged me and told me that she had decided that she wanted me to join the Gen Z Connection. And I was very happy because, guys, to be honest, I didn't even think that I would actually get it. It was something that I was just trying out. But so she messaged me and said that she wanted me to join her team, and I joined her, and I was working with another Zimbabwean lady, as a fellow content creator, and it was just amazing working with them to create content that feeds and builds young people. So yeah, that's how I got my job at the Gen Z Connection. So the takeaways that I have from this experience: one, when people tell you to follow pages that have content that builds, it really works, guys, because who would have thought that I would get an online job just because I was following the Gen Z Connection? And they're always posting a lot of opportunities at the Gen Z Connection, by the way. It might not be a job, you might get a scholarship through them, you might get an internship or different kinds of opportunities. So what I want to say to any young person out there who's looking for opportunities and who's active on social media is follow pages that give you content that builds, follow pages that post opportunities for young people. And when you do come across such posts, please do not hesitate to go for it, because you don't lose anything by trying. You only learn to refine your application skills, and you never know, you might actually get it just like I did and enjoy the experience. So I really enjoyed my experience working for the Gen Z Connection. So that's the first thing that I learned. And then the second thing that I learned is that your social media presence actually matters. I remember in my interview, Rumbi was actually telling me that she looked at my social media, and some of the questions that she was asking were questions about things that were on my social media. She asked me about my podcast, she asked me why I started it and my goals with it and all that. So your social media presence matters, and your image on social media matters. People are always saying that the internet never forgets, so make sure that anything that you are publicizing on the internet, anything that you are putting up on your pages, is something that you wouldn't mind someone who's looking to recruit you to come across. So that's the second thing that I learned. And the third thing that I learned, well, I think I've already said this: don't be afraid to go for opportunities. When you see something, don't think, oh, this is not for me, or I'm not qualified enough. Just go for it, just try, step out of your comfort zone. And my experience working for the Gen Z Connection was very enriching, and I learned a lot of skills that I didn't have initially. So like I said, don't disqualify yourself. Some of the things you even learn when you start doing whatever it is that you applied for. When I joined the Gen Z Connection, I wasn't really good at designing things, and I remember the first days I used to design things and submit them, and I would get constructive feedback on how to improve on my designs and stuff. And those are the things that really helped me grow as a designer and as a content creator. And so yeah, don't be afraid to do things even if you're not fully equipped with the skills. So yeah, that's it on today's video on how I got an online job as a content creator. And my last words would be, number one, do expect a lot more personal development and youth empowerment content on this YouTube channel and on the Honest Talk Podcast Instagram page, which I highly recommend that you follow as well. And number two, do follow the Gen Z Connection. I learned a lot personally from working with the people at the Gen Z Connection and getting to learn from them, and even watching some of the videos and YouTube posts that were posted before I even started working with the Gen Z Connection. And I have grown so much, and I have learned so much, and I've had many opportunities that I've gotten from it, and I highly recommend it. And so yeah, I'm back full force on the Honest Talk Podcast, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. And feel free to let me know if there's any particular content that you would like me to share based on some of the experiences that I've had, and even based on some of the things that you are trying to achieve as a young person. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.